to Joni's channel. Will be in the description. And thanks for watching, guys.
Give me just a breakdown on your aim story. How long did it take you to get from where you were to where you are now?
So, I guess way back when Modern Warfare 2 came out, that was like my first ever shooter, and I played like probably 1,000 hours on that game on Xbox, and then I played a couple hundred hours every year after that, like every Call of Duty that came out. So, you know, in total, I've got like probably 2,000 to 3,000 hours into Call of Duty on console before I ever switched over to PC. And then like
you were doing a controller that whole time on console?
Yeah, yep, just controller. And I did quick scoping, and I was even starting to do like aim training back then. I would put it against easy level bots with like headshots only, turning off aim assist, like turning my sensitivity all the way up. You know, I really wanted to get into like phase or optics. So I was like, you know, really trying for that.
Oh, you were going for it, yeah.
Yeah, but I wasn't like consistently recording. I didn't play enough to like get clips and stuff like that. So it was more like just getting the skill up was the main priority for me at the time. So I wasn't like making videos and stuff back then. But yeah, like 5 years ago, I think it was 5 years ago, Overwatch came out, and that was like my first PC shooter on mouse and keyboard, and I realized I sucked.
Dude, Overwatch is so hard.
Yeah. I was playing a lot of Soldier 76 just because he was basically like the Call of Duty guy.
Right. Exactly.
And then after that, it was just kind of like the way that I've always played games is I get really obsessed for like a month or two, and then I'll play a lot, you know, and then I get above average, but I never really get to like a high level in any game. Not since like Modern Warfare 2, basically. And so Apex came out, and that game really was what started my interest in aim training, because I realized that you don't get into that many gunfights because it's a battle royale, and I was also playing like the ranked mode, so it really was not getting to a lot of gunfights. So I started aim training, and that turned into like 100+ hours of aim training, 200 hours of Apex, and then I, you know, kind of set both of them down because there wasn't any ranked system for Kovacs at the time. So yeah, that's
for the whole Voltage.
Yeah, before Voltaic, it was actually Aimer7 just came out with his guide back then.
Wow,
so I was trying to become like sub-intermediate, I think was his rank.
One shot right here.
Back then, and then I wasn't until this last January where I started making videos consistently, and I started my like Voltaic aim journey, where I started aim training 2 hours every single day and climbed from, I probably started around gold to platinum level to Grandmaster. I just hit last month.
Started pretty high then. So, I mean, starting up, right? Gold, platinum?
Yep, pretty high. I was probably, you know, top 10% to top 5%, around the top 5 percentile for most scenarios. So I think, you know, 2,000 hours plus on console, the eye-hand coordination from that, I think definitely carries over.
Yeah, definitely. And as time goes on, you know, I thought I had some pretty decent aim, but just recently, after starting to watch you, that's when I started doing my Voltaic.
Gotcha, yeah.
Path go down here.
And whew, my aim is not nearly as good as I thought it was. I'm like, I hit a couple of them into bronze, but other than that, it's like just barely bronze. I got a lot of work.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get humbled as soon as they run those benchmarks. But they're honestly, they're really competitive.
Oh, I can't.
Like, yeah, a diamond. Somebody that's a diamond complete is like a top 1% aimer. You know.
So then Grandmaster, it's like top 5%. It's like
yeah, insane. I'm basically like top 100 probably. Like if I actually submitted my scores for the rankings within Voltaic, I'm like pretty close to top 50. But yeah, pretty like if you look at pretty much all those benchmarks, I'm within like the top 200 on all of them. So yeah, it's pretty competitive. It's pretty high up.
Some insane dedication. I gotta commend you.
Yeah, but I mean, I like doing it too, though. You know.
Yeah, I remember I was tuning into your stream the other day.
Nice.
Training, I saw a couple people mentioning that. Oh, yep. Not surprised to see you training.
Pretty much, yeah. And it's funny because I when I first started with Voltaic, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna get to platinum so that I can join the Discord. And then I hit platinum, and I was like, you know, okay, we should probably get diamond. And then I got diamond. I was like, all right, like that's pretty good. Like, let me just try for master, see if I can get it. But then after I hit masters, I'm totally just gonna like chill out. And then I hit master, and I was like, oh, okay, well maybe after master complete, and then after grandmaster. So I just keep pushing it back, like the goalposts keep moving. But that's what I like about like just that ranked leaderboard. Really helps your motivation. And I think if they had that back when I first started training, back when it was just like aim or sevens guide, I would have put like several thousand hours probably into aim training at this point and have full-blown RSI.
Yeah. A
Yeah.
whole other level. Send it god tier. I mean, already god tier. Real. Like I was watching that video of you playing Apex. Damn, that actually. Like it's funny because you'll watch you know YouTube clips and stuff, and people have like really good aim, but then seeing Grandmaster Voltaic level aim like in practice is really crazy to watch. Like I was kind of shocked.
Really? Thanks, man.
Yeah, man.
Well, thanks. Well, what's funny is like, so I'm pretty good. So like any game that I hop into, I'll have really good aim. But like if you compare me to somebody like Hollow or these other somebody that has like 1,000 to 2,000 hours in Apex probably has similar or better aim than me. So like it still takes hundreds of hours playing that game to like adapt your brain to the movement and the recoil and the character models and everything that goes into it. So like I'm really good at controlling my mouse, but I can tell that even over the last few weeks of playing Apex consistently, my aim just keeps getting better and better because my brain is just like getting more in tune with the game. So there's still people that they just don't do aim training that are probably gods if they were to actually try it, you know? Yeah.
You can definitely see it because I mean a lot of it. I made a video about this. Like aim can make all the difference. Yes, most definitely. But I think game sense overall, you know, general skill within the game overshadow that. Position your enemy. If you're not position your enemy far better than those shots.
Totally.
Real quick, what is your setting? I just gotta get the you know the question that everybody wants to know. What's your settings? Grip, mouse? How do you like to do things?
So I use a GPX Super Light mouse. I used the G Pro wireless before that. Loved it. Most important thing with the mouse is just that you like the grip. I like the shape of it, honestly. I actually just bought the G703, which is a lot heavier mouse, but I like the shape of it probably more. But I'm still gonna stick with the Super Light because I can just be way faster with it.
Okay. Is the 703 is that heavier mouse, like 80 grams or something?
It's actually, I think it's over 100. It's pretty heavy. But you can actually be a lot smoother with a heavier mouse, just because it's easier to control.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the lighter mice are a little bit harder to. They're like you're more in tune with like your hand, but they're just a little bit, you know, you basically let less effort to move it, you know.
Gotcha. I guess that would make sense because it's the same concept as activity, right?
Right, exactly.
Control.
And that's why like people always ask for your sensitivity, but at the end of the day, like you just need to pick a sensitivity that works most of the time. So I change my sensitivity all the time just because I like to change it. It's fun. Because like basically all you're doing is if you have a higher sensitivity, you're going to use more wrist. If you have a lower sensitivity, you use more arm. And I like to use a little bit more wrist than arm, and I like turning around quicker. I feel like it helps your movement to be a little bit faster. So
He went all the way over
for Apex, I use like 28 centimeters per 360.
Okay.
But I've also gone down to like 40, and you know, the same thing happens with like Kovacs. I can use any sensitivity from like 20 to 40 centimeters, and I'll get roughly the same score. So it's not necessarily like maybe because I change it all the time, but like I just did air angelic for yesterday at 15 centimeters, and I got the exact same score at 75 centimeters.
Yeah,
So the whole
think I
question of
saw
like
the Pathfinder,
sensitivity
but I
is
didn't realize you would, like,
for me
grapple
it's kind of
over there.
funny because it doesn't really matter. Like your
Maybe I-
brain will just adapt
Maybe
to
he
it.
was there earlier. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's funny you say that because I used to be one of those people that hardcore believed, oh, you have to stick with one sensitivity and finding all these calculations to make sure it correlates between each and every single game. But once I started getting into the whole voltaic thing and looking into you and Bardos and Rid, I think
Talent
his name
skews
was.
everything.
Yep.
What is the rate?
That's when I started really experiment sensitivity, and I had always experimented with sensitivity. I'd be lying if I
Right in
didn't
the middle of
say
the
that
map
I
where none of the
changed
resources are.
often.
That's a good idea.
But I would try to stick with one, change it, and stick with that, and try to dial it in. But then feel like, oh, maybe I should speed it up or down, depending on felt like
I'm gonna give
track.
him any meds.
But now, ever since I have been doing
I don't know if they deserve it.
what you guys have,
They're gonna die anyway.
trying out different activities, especially going in higher sensitivity, really smooth out your aim, it makes a huge difference. And I feel like I have
100%.
no problem going back to whatever sensitivity I felt comfortable with. Yeah, like no problems at all. If anything, it feels better. It feels like there's no difference.
Yeah,
Kind of
exactly.
amazing. Well, your body adapt to it.
Yep, it's just kind of dependent on the game and also like what mouse pad you use. If you have a really slow cloth mouse pad, you can get away with a higher sensitivity. Or if you're using like a hard pad, then you might want to do a slower sensitivity because it's less effort to move your mouse. So that's why it's all personal preference, and like the length of your fingers, your forearm, all that stuff is all it's all personal preference.
Tons of varying factors, and
Oh, it's a lifeline.
I'm
huh?
using right now. I'm using a cloth
They're both gonna res.
Fanatic Dash. Like, man, feel like I don't know if it's the mouse pad. I know, I mean, definitely it's part of my aim itself, but I definitely feel like this mouse pad, like, I need something.
Shields of recharge.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like the gear search is just never ending. I don't know why, but
Well, it's good to experiment. It really is, because I was using like the Steel series for a long time and didn't realize how like slow that mouse pad was. And then I got the G640 and was like, whoa, this is smooth, man. But then
is that what you're using right now?
no, I just the only reason I switched from it was if my hand gets a little bit of moisture, like it gets a little too hot, or it's like humid, then the mouse pad changes a little bit. It's weird, and like you'll basically get these stutters with your hand. So I'm using the Zoe GSR now, which is like a medium mouse pad, I guess, as far as
Okay.
speed goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely been looking into mouse pads just for that exact mouse pad. It's like here in Colorado, like hot and cold, depending on day, night. Like it's like weird weather here.
Yeah.
So it does feel like the mouse.
Your mic is still cutting in and out quite a bit.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I think it's a noise gate thing. I've said that like 10 times, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But who knows?
Yeah, sorry. I think it's that. Let me try turning it down just a little bit more. Okay, how about that? Better?
Yep, I think so. You like your volume went way up, which is fine. I can turn you down.
Oh, okay.
So you're good.
Okay. Sorry.
Yep.
Okay. So quick question: since you were back in the day, you were going pretty hard on controller. What is your opinion as far as mouse
Maybe I
versus
can get a
controller?
4K damage game, 'cause I
The
think
great
bug's still
debate.
going where I get
The great debate.
badge.
Each has their pros and cons. Controller is better close range, and mouse and keyboard's better long range. I also think that sniping and clicking in general is easier with a mouse and keyboard. But then again, like quick scoping is heavily uses aim assist pretty heavily also. So at the end of the day, like I've gone back and tried to use a controller, and even though I haven't used it in years, I can still laser people. So I think nowadays the aim assist is way stronger than it was back in the day. And I would just like not even use aim assist and wouldn't really notice the difference because I had put so much time into like I said, I was like aim training before aim training was cool.
Oh my god, I thought she was
Right.
much lower than that.
But yeah, I've thought about going back, but after how much work I put
I
into
shouldn't
mouse
have
and keyboard,
pushed
there's
down
just
the open
no
here.
turning back. And I do think it has a higher skill ceiling also. You can do crazy stuff with it. You can make it literally look like an aimbot. You know, like if you watch any Team EXE montage, it looks like an aimbot. You just can't do that on controller. You just can't.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I feel like the closest I've seen as far as looking like aimbot is maybe like face testy, at least from what I've seen it on controller at least.
I think I got 4
But yeah, it definitely seems like, especially with now, like for example, in Warzone, they have that setting. I think it's precision, the aim assist setting, and it feels like it just kind of locks on. I'm terrible at controller, but I feel like I am okay at hitting headshots with snipers if I have that setting on. And it's kind of crazy, and to me, it's just kind of crazy. But I totally agree with you
Okay, let's
100%.
go.
I think there's definitely a higher skill ceiling with mouse and keyboard.
Yep.
I think controller is hard. I have a really hard time playing controller, but mouse and keyboard is also hard.
They're both hard. I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like you can be pretty like more consistent with controller as well because of the aim assist. Getting on target is slower, but once you're on target, you're probably going to be staying there. You know.
yeah.
So.
Yeah, it kind of keeps you in that general area that you need to be at. But compared to mouse and keyboard, well, there's so many variations that can happen just depending on your own muscles and your mouse pad. There's just so many variations when it comes to mouse and keyboard. Kind of inconsistent.
Yep.
So what do you think about as far as flicking versus tracking? What do you think in general is more important to practice?
I think you should improve all aspects of your aim.
Where's my team over
Even
here?
if you play Valorant, you should be working on tracking. You should be working on, really precise smoothness. You should be working on really fast
Trying to
flicking. All of
reposition to
it
get
comes
on
into
head
play.
glitch, but
Even if you're
probably
just
should've dipped
maneuvering
out
around the
when they
map,
both were pushing me.
because you're
'Cause they're
while you
just
move
2v1
your mouse,
pinch,
you're also
it's
controlling your
easy.
camera. So if you have a shaky camera, it hurts your ability to see stuff. So
And centering and things like that.
yep.
Did I lose the
Yep.
round or did
So I mean, you probably want to put more focus on like target switching if you're going to be a Call of Duty player, and more static dots if you're a Valorant player. It makes sense to put more volume on that, but you should train all parts of your aim because at the end of the day, like aim training doesn't really. It just gives you better raw mouse control and like eye-hand coordination, right? So yeah, I think it's important to do all of it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I
now they
think,
should know that we're going to the
and
right.
it's like you said,
Ping
I
it
definitely
out.
feel like it correlates into each other, right? Because even the tracking can play into your flicking as far as like smoothness goes and how consistent you are
Get
with
on
the flicks,
side here,
right?
so when I'm
I mean,
Yep.
that's just
hiding
kind of how I
meds,
think about
although
it.
they
But
probably don't even need it 'cause they're so rich.
even like,
Money
okay, so I was
right now.
watching one of your videos and you were talking about how you should do Overwatch for, I guess. I can't remember if it was like
my
30
God, how
minutes
are
a
you
day or
dead,
just.
bro?
Yeah, I think you were just saying play Overwatch.
Yeah, just out.
with your
Yeah,
team.
if you're just trying to get better aim, yeah.
Yeah, and I started that today,
expecting her
literally
to,
this morning at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Strafe
Now,
back
Dope.
I'm just gonna go in there and I did some McCree. I did like McCree for 30 minutes, and then I did Soldier for 30 minutes. And then I noticed that, I don't know, maybe it could be that I did McCree before, but I noticed that when I went back to McCree after Soldier, it just felt like I was more consistent as far as like positioning of my crosshairs and lining it up with the head and just getting, smoother flicks. I don't know, it could be in my head, but it's what it seemed like for sure.
No, yeah, like one of the best scenarios that you can do to warm up your aim is Air Angelic 4 because it's just constant micro corrections. And so you could go to any game after that. Like I've talked to a few different people about this, but yeah, like really precise tracking stuff where you're constantly making little changes like that helps you with your flicks. It helps you with clicking too. So yeah, I totally can see that. But the reason I said Overwatch is because the targets are small, they're moving around all over the place. You can choose to click or track, and there's all those custom game modes. Like Aim Arena, like you can get so much practice in. And dude, play Widow Headshot Lobby. If you can win a Widow Headshot Lobby, you're a god. Like you're good.
Dude, some of the things people do in those Widow Headshot lobbies are crazy. Like their grappling hook into 360 scope. Like it's like, whoa.
Dude, there's some people in there. If they were to do aim training, they would crush people. I'm sure.
I'm sure a lot of them. Well, do you think just a lot of them just spend all day in those Widow Headshot lobbies without doing Kovacs or anything?
Yep, I think a lot of people they do Widow Headshot and then play the game. That's it.
That's crazy.
Because you get
it isn't
a lot of reps.
Sorry, go ahead.
So you get a lot of reps with that game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Because it's just constant. It's not like you were saying. Like I feel like the main problem with getting better in Apex is it takes so much time in the battle royale mode to get into gunfights and everything. I guess now it's not as bad because you have the arena mode and everything, but still, compared to Overwatch, it's just constant. You can just do it for hours.
Yep. That's yeah. So like, I wouldn't really recommend aim training to somebody that's trying to get better to Overwatch. To be honest with you, I wouldn't. I would have them just do Aim Arena and just Aim Arena in the actual game.
So what about so let's say for example, what if you just used Overwatch only as an aim trainer for other games? What do you think about that?
That works too, man. I mean, at the end of the day, like the simple formula, I guess, for just getting better at anything really is just like volume times challenge. So like more reps, more volume of reps that are really challenging, you're gonna get better quicker. And so like it's much more challenging to move your character and also hit moving targets that are also other human beings than it is to hit dots. But then again, like you can do way more difficult scenarios in aim training than you can even in Overwatch. So maybe I take back my comment. There probably is some benefit to aim training with playing Overwatch, but I would
use my arc star there.
At the end of the day, like you have to play your game if you want to get better at the game. So like it's not like I put in 500 hours of aim training. That's equivalent of 500 hours of Overwatch. That's like, they're not the same.
Right. Especially if you're trying to get better at Overwatch.
Yeah. Especially. So that's like why I recommended in one video is just like a 30-minute training or aim training, 30 minutes of deathmatch, and then like 2 or more hours of ranked.
How do you split it up? Do you split up the routine exactly like that, or how do you go about splitting up the routines?
So for the last year, like aim training was my main game. So I did 2+ hours, right? So I did the voltaic fundamental routine, takes an hour, and then I would also do a speed routine, a smoothness routine. I would also just mix in different types of routines. So there's like Kowser's extreme training routine and Bardoz's Valorant routine. So I would just do a lot of different types of routines, as well as playing my weakest benchmark, just grinding it for 5 to 10 minutes, and then a harder version of that benchmark, 5 to 10 minutes. That's and if you talk to like a lot of people that are higher up in like the further along you get, like you don't see the same progress. So a lot of people let go of routines the higher they get, because then they can like really focus on nailing down one specific score and stuff like that.
Oh, I see. Okay, really dialing in on something that either a score that they're trying to hit, or maybe something that they feel like they're lackluster in, such as smoothness or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been doing your I pretty much went through a couple of your videos and I just kind of notated all the different routines that you recommended, and I've been doing the one where it was 1 hour of the fundamentals and then 10 minutes of whatever your weekend, and then another 10 minutes of the same one but higher, harder version. And pretty much it's just smoothness for me. I feel like I have a really hard time with smoothness. Like I feel like that is the bane of my existence. So I've been doing at 1 point, or basically 20 centimeters for the smoothness, and I do that in the morning. So I'll do that first thing in the morning, and then at nighttime, that's when I'll do like the fundamentals, just to kind of split it up and not tire out my arm throughout the day.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to go about it. Yep.
Now I just gotta. Dude, that was so much fun doing that Overwatch. Like I definitely feel like I could just do that all day. So it's like kind of like, okay, where do I throw that in?
Were you playing Aim Arena or were you playing just the normal game?
No, yeah, I was doing Aim Arena.
Oh, okay,
just, like, in there, 300 kills for each character, pretty much.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the only thing that aim training really helps with is like vertical movement, because most games are just kind of side to side. Even Aim Arena is mostly side to side.
True. Yeah. Even for Overwatch too, Overwatch standards mostly side to side, because most of the time people are picking Widow, Ashe.
Yeah.
No one's picking Pharah most of the time, but I did run into a game where they were picking Pharah and flying around, so that helped a little.
Yeah, I try to focus on like the Echo or the Pharah. I mean, a large part of Overwatch, you are just shooting shields too, so it's not necessarily the best aim training. So that, I mean, aim training, it will like make your mouse control better quicker than any other like method. But if your goal is to get better at Overwatch, that's what I keep going back to. Like, I feel like I want to backtrack and justify why I said like don't aim train, but just in general, like if you want to get better at something, you got to do that thing. You can't. I mean, aim train is kind of like lifting weights to get better at basketball. You know, like you want to spend the vast majority of your time playing basketball and a little bit of time lifting weights. You know.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of what I've been bad at right now, because I also want to try and push for being better at Apex. I really like Apex. I want to make it my main game. I am 100% super noob at Apex though. Like I barely have any time played into it. Like I've pretty much just been doing some arenas. I just got my first win like the other day when I was streaming. So I'm very behind when it comes to Apex, and I really need to focus on just putting more hours into Apex. I know that's what I need to do, but you know, it's just kind of hard sometimes. There's so much stuff going on.
Yep.
Well, so you've been playing Apex from the start, right? Except you took that break.
Yeah, I put like roughly 200 hours in back in like season 2 and 3 when the ranked mode first came out. But I avoided fights. I tried to play safe to climb ranked, so I didn't get into a lot of gunfights. So I wasn't like, I was still decent because I've got a lot of experience with Call of Duty, and it's a very similar game as far as like the mechanics go. But yeah, not until 3 weeks ago I hadn't really played at all. Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, you're already diamond in arena, right?
Yep.
Diamond in arena?
Pretty close to diamond 2, but not quite there. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not even ranked yet, so it's better than me. I'll get there eventually. Have you played any Warzone?
Yep. I've got like, I don't know, 100 hours or something in Warzone. That's what my friends play quite a bit.
Oh, okay. What do you think about Warzone versus Apex?
I like both games. I think Apex is a harder game for just pure mechanical skill. That's why I like it a little bit more. And it's a game that my aim can really shine. Whereas Warzone, it's mostly about positioning and then, hitting your shots. But, usually the shots aren't that difficult to hit.
Yeah.
So it's definitely more about playing safe and maneuvering the map. And then Apex, a big reason that I didn't like Apex was it felt like it took so long to kill someone that it was impossible to, like in Warzone or Call of Duty, I can be like a one-man army and I can kill an entire team. But in Apex, It didn't feel like that. But now that I've gotten to like Grandmaster level aim, now it actually does feel like I can one-man army people, because I just can 1v1 3 different people. And as long as I isolate the 1v1, I'm able to like reposition and heal before the next one. Like I can actually do that. So I think, Apex is just a harder mechanical skill game.
Yeah.
For both movement and aiming. So that's why I like it. But at the same time, it is a little bit more team focused.
Yeah.
But yeah, And then also Warzone, it just sucks. Somebody could just camp in a building, and,
Yeah.
and you're dead, and you can't do anything.
Yeah, so many times, and it sucks when you're like, you're on the roll, you're going, you got everything good, and you're pushing this building, and then just some good dude just camping in the corner the whole game gets the kill on you. It can be frustrating for sure. I feel like that's what's cool about Apex is you can outplay that very easily because
Totally.
the way the game works, you don't get insta fried. I wish they would. I hate how quick the time to kill is in Warzone, honestly. That is one of the things I love about Apex is how long it does take to kill, because it's kind of like you have to be a little bit more methodical on how you approach fights. It feels like, at least it's so. It feels
Definitely.
like me.
Yep.
I when I first tried Apex, I was super nervous to even just go into the battle royale mode. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do no fill, so I don't feel like I'm bogging down my teammates or anything, And I went in there and I got very lucky. I just got put up against probably two very new people, I guess SBMM or whatever, because I was obviously new as well. And I had almost got the 2v1, and I felt like way more confident because of that. And I immediately just fell in love with the gameplay because of like you said, I could already tell that it's way more reliant on your mechanics and fundamentals, and I love it, man. I love that. So exciting to me.
Yeah. It's just a cool game in general too. Just like the look of the game, the abilities, and how they all fit together. It's a really cool game. It's awesome.
Did you play Titanfall?
No, I picked it up for like 2 hours because I wanted to get better at Apex, and then I realized it was a completely different game, really.
Okay, gotcha.
But
I never played Titanfall, but I like the whole lore, how they interlace and everything, so I kind of watched some videos, but I never played it. I've heard a lot of people love it, though.
yeah, there's some hardcore dudes that love that game.
Yeah. It's like crazy, the whole hacking story going on with it in there. It's like, whoa, dude.
Yeah. So when did you start aim training stuff?
So for me, I was kind of doing what you were doing when I first started playing Modern Warfare 2019, pretty much when it came out. I was terrible at the game, but I really wanted to get better because I watched some quick scoping videos, and same kind of deal. So I would go into I would just make bot lobbies, and same thing, headshot only, Car 98 only, just do that for as long as I could, essentially.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of what started that, but and then I kind of stopped. I did some aim labs, but I never went super hard into the actual aim trainers. There was a period where it was like maybe like a month where I was doing aim labs only. Aim labs with the Modern Warfare bot lobbies and everything. But only recently, since I discovered you, essentially, I didn't even know what the voltaic system was until some people came into my chat when I did the 24-hour stream.
Oh, okay.
24-hour aim lab thing, which was about a month ago, was when that stream actually happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was when I first discovered it, and people showed me Bardos. They showed me Bardos, and then from there I kind of started looking into. Then I found Rid, and then that's how I found you. And pretty
Gotcha.
much once I saw your routines, that's when I got into it. So I just finished my first benchmarks on this past Wednesday, and tomorrow I'm gonna be doing my next set of benchmarks.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Not even long.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, you can make a lot of progress in a month or two. It starts slowing down later, but yeah, you can get pretty good pretty quick if you stay consistent.
Yeah, I've definitely felt a pretty big improvement as far as consistency goes. Because I think my biggest issue that I've always had was just tracking. I'm really bad at tracking, very, very shaky. But in even just this past week, it's tremendously. It's crazy how much it actually makes a difference. I didn't think it would happen so quickly, but
Dope, man.
I'll make sure to watch out for that slowdown. I'm nervous for that part because it's like, keeping yourself motivated for when you do hit a wall. What do you do when you hit a wall, or what did you do when you were hitting walls in the time that you were doing your journey to grandmaster?
So I think the first thing you got to realize is that walls are a part of the process, and you're not going to make progress linearly. It's going to be basically a plateau followed by a jump, plateau followed by a jump, plateau followed by a jump. So whenever I'm on a plateau, I know that I'm there, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's just part of it. If I feel like I'm on the plateau for a long time, then I'm going to ask myself questions like, am I doing something wrong? Should I be focusing on something else? Should I try a different sensitivity? Should I sit closer to my monitor? So there's experimentation, problem solving that needs to go into that you need to kind of do first, or once you realize like I'm kind of stuck, you gotta, ask yourself, is there something that's like hard pulling me back? If you realize that like, no, there's nothing really pulling me back, I just need to put more time in, then I will do harder. Just the biggest piece of advice I can give anybody trying to get better is do harder shit and force yourself to do the hardest shit you can possibly like stand, basically. There's a certain point where like a good analogy is like with basketball. Like if you want to get better at shooting,